Okay, fantastic. Thank you everyone for joining in this evening's session. So from tonight going forward, we will have sessions every day open, and these are going to be open workshop sessions where if you have any challenges with any of the challenges themselves or issues from the program side, technical issues, logging in problems, or just general queries about something specific to one of the challenge worlds, or for example, submitting knowledge check forms or your reflection sessions. These will be the platforms where we will be able to assist with that. So there isn't any particular agenda for today's workshop. It very much is, if you have any challenges, this is where we'll be able to assist. So I do ask if you have any questions, please post them in the chat or raise your hand, and then we can move through them sequentially. Thank you very much. Yes, I see we have a hand up. Please unmute yourself and ask away.
Good afternoon. Okay, so on my end, I have actually struggled just to get through challenge 1. So what I did experience is that when I selected challenge, week 1 challenge, I was then navigated to the game. So firstly, I was navigated to the game, but with no play options or instructions for that matter. So I'm not sure what I'm missing on my side. So if I can get clarity on that, that would be great, because it seems like there might be basics that I'm not getting right.
Okay, so were you in any of the introduction sessions that were held last week?
There's one I attended last week and I've watched it again, but still, like the instruction part, I'm just not getting for the challenge in terms of what is it that needs
Oh,
to be done.
what you need to
Yes,
actually do
because
in the challenge.
that's
Okay.
that's correct. Because I saw on the WhatsApp group when it was mentioned for last week's challenge for week 1 in terms of what is it that was required. I did not get that on my end.
Okay. So the week 1 challenge and all of the challenges have a number of characters that are placed around. These are typically called NPCs, so it's your non-playable characters. And in the challenges, they have certain personas or characters associated to them. And if you actually interact with one of the NPCs, so you just have to look at them and you right click, it will open up a dialog box where the NPCs actually provide insight on what you need to do and how you need to move forward. So for example, in challenge 1, when you load into the world first, you kind of end up in like a little gray box and you've got this character in front of you. If you right click on the character, she provides a bit of insight as to why you, for example, are in the gray box, and then also helps you get into the world where you can start engaging with the challenge, finding clues, and moving through each of the sub challenges in the world itself. So I don't know, have you interacted with the NPCs in the game?
So it was what is it? I'll tell you now. They put it stranger. Is it something like
Yes.
so
Yes.
that's what I got.
Did you
Navigating
interact with the
within
hooded
that.
stranger at all?
No, like I tried clicking, but I was using the keypads or the options on the side to try and build, and I was like breaking stuff. I think that's what
Okay.
was happening.
Okay, let me do this. I'm going to load into the world quick, and I just want to show you where you
Okay.
can start off, because I do understand obviously the
So,
issue from not having a starting place that's in there, because it doesn't really lead you up into anything. So I'm just going to jump in and actually just show where the starting point really is. And don't worry, I'm not going to, obviously there won't be any answers or challenge to any of the challenges released through this. I just want to get in here and share my screen quickly. I just want to make sure, can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, we just see straight into.
I don't see anything. It's actually blank. I don't know whether it's a problem from my side. Oh, yeah.
Okay. If it is blank, just give it a second. It might just be a bandwidth situation. Okay. So this is the landing spot when you open up the world. So you download it from Teams. Just go through the process quickly. The entire process. Okay. So if we go into one of our teams and we go under challenges, and then we jump under the file section. Give it a second to load. You'll see that you've got these different weeks running through. So for the week 1, the first challenge, we'll look under the week 1 world. And all you'll do is you can select it and you can download it. Okay, I'm just going to download the world. We can see it's downloaded already. These worlds are fairly small. I think the first world is only a megabyte big. So if I wanted to load into the world, I would just double click it. Let me actually exit this and do this from the beginning. There we go. Exit out of here. Okay. As we can see, I've just got Minecraft open. I haven't loaded into anything. And I've got the world I just downloaded from Teams. So if I just double click on the world, it will automatically import it for me. And if I open up Minecraft here now, we can see it's loading me into the world. So that's how you would get into it. And it's the same process for challenge 2 and challenge 3 that we'll be releasing. And once you spawn in, this hooded stranger is an example of a NPC, a non-playable character. So all we need to do with an NPC is we right click on the NPC. And we can actually see that now I've got text here open for me that starts to provide insights into what I need to do as well. And you'll also see at the bottom of an NPC is a button. So often these buttons are stuff that you can interact with. So in this case, I'm not going to read through the entire thing. Please do go and read through it because there's very important information in it. But the last piece of the text here says, but first let's get you out of this horrendous little box. So the little square that we locked in. And if I hit follow the hooded stranger, it actually moves me out into this open spot here, where all of a sudden I've got a lot more information. I've got the hooded stranger again. So we want to read what the hooded stranger says. So we'll right click and we'd come and we'd actually read through this information. And in this text, the hooded stranger tells you what you're supposed to be doing. Now, now I really don't want to dive into the text itself because it gives answers away and clues in the world. So do, when you enter in, interact with your NPCs. They're very important in giving you the information you need on what to do. And then you'd be able to venture out into the world. And you'll actually see that we've also got boards placed up everywhere, giving you hints and tips on what you need to do in certain areas. For example, we've got a board over here that tells you what you're supposed to do in this area. And there's also a section in the back that also has a challenge associated to it. And you'll also see, I can actually see through the window. Yeah. In the house, there's another NPC. So as you're moving through, you'll be introduced to new characters, and the characters do have names, and the names are important. So pay attention to some of the names. They will give you tips or hints as to what the challenge deals with. So it is very important to look for the small clues that are there. But that's an example of another NPC. However, I would have to be able to solve the challenge to get inside so that I can get my next step on what I need to do. I hope that answers the question.
Oh, certainly it does. Thank you very much. That was helpful.
Okay, fantastic. I just want to jump in the chat here. I don't see there are any other hands raised, but I just want to go through the chat to see if we have any answers. On my side, I didn't get any challenge. This is from Sanele. I just want to make sure, Sanele, that you look under the Teams, under the Teams chat files. You're more than welcome to unmute yourself or answer in the chat. Okay, there we go. Cool beans. Well, Sanele answers. I see there's a question whether you can do the challenges with your teammates. So on that, we do not recommend, well, we kindly ask that you don't, primarily because these are individual challenges that are here to test you as an individual and your skills, as well as develop certain skills and thinking patterns itself. The collaboration and the teamwork really comes in when we're talking about the tournament that will be happening as well. But information will get to you on the tournament dates, how it's going to be run, how whether you're in the teams or not for it, because do remember that completing all 3 challenges will help determine whether you get into the teams that will participate in the final tournaments at the end of the day, because each region will form 2 teams, which will then enter into the final esports competition, and determining and based off of your performance within the challenges will determine whether you get into those teams or not. So please do try and work on these individually. It is at the most beneficial for yourself to run through it solo. I do see there's a hand up. Yes.
Hi, I would just like to ask, so let's say I did challenge 1 and I was just moving through it without actually really understanding that much, because from what I understand, if you want to do challenge 2, some of the things that you've acquired from or learned from challenge 1, you need to be using them in challenge 2. So now, if I want to redo challenge 1, am I allowed to do so?
You're more than welcome to do so. So that's actually a good question. I'm going to hit save and exit quickly so I can show you this. It's an excellent question. Let's just load out of here. So if I hit the play option and I go under view my worlds, you'll see that I've actually got 2 copies of the UNISA Challenge World 1 here, because remember when I shared my screen, I was already in one, and then I opened it up separately again and it loaded a second one for me. So all I need to do is, if you want to load in a new version of it, you don't want to continue from one of your previous ones, all you do is go to your download and you open it up again. And what it will do is it will import it for you as a brand new world. So I'm just going to load in and then exit, and then you should see 3 different UNISA challenge worlds up there. And each one saves the progress that I made there. So if I wanted to start anew, let's say, for example, this is my new start, and I would like to get going myself, I can at any point save and exit. Just get it back to the previous spot. And under view my worlds again, we should see the 3 UNISA challenge worlds. So you can start a new game at any point in time just by simply going to open up the downloaded world, and it opens it up as a new game. So any of your previous ones really doesn't impact it or won't lose their own save. And it is important to pay attention to some of the information that is given. There are small hints that do lead into the new challenge weeks. Also, on top of it, some of the ways that you had to find clues are repeated in challenge 2, but they aren't explained as well because you needed to have learned it from challenge 1. So please do go and have a look at it. I do hope that answers your question.
Yes, but I also have a follow-up question.
Yes, Farah.
Because you just mentioned that before I asked the question, that we're going to be evaluated on the challenges as well, whether we're going to be joining the tournament, right? So that's one of the questions. If now I am playing challenge 1 more than once, how am I going to be evaluated?
So the evaluation itself is the way that we look at it is in terms of when you've downloaded it, and we can see the tracking measures on our side. So on your account, we can see when you've downloaded it, and between then and the time that you've submitted your knowledge and your reflection checks, that's in there. We use a bunch of metrics across the board. So it's not just located to what's happening in the game. That's why I do mention that the knowledge checks and the reflection sessions are vital themselves, because they form part of a challenge week. So the challenge itself, or the challenge week process, doesn't start and end with the Minecraft game. It starts with downloading it. The middle part is essentially your Minecraft game, and then the ending is your knowledge and reflection checks. So if you haven't done those, please do, because whether you've completed them or not determines whether you've completed your week.
Okay,
I hope that answers the question.
It does. So now, after completing challenge 1, you go to fill in that form for reflection, right? For the knowledge.
Yes,
and then
so that's
afterwards, you have to go and flip to make a video of
yes,
the experience you had.
100%. So it's all accessible. So I'm in a team now under my general channel. You can access it all here. We can see there is a full challenge week 1, and I can click on it and I can come fill out my challenge week 1 that's in here. And then your flip is under the UNISA Minecraft EE. That's all labeled the same on your different teams, so you don't need to worry about it being different for each region. I can just click on it and it will ask me to obviously log in to flip. Just give it a second to load itself. There we go. It will ask me to log in, so you can just log in. Once you log in the first time, it will keep your login details for you on that device, and then just complete your reflection on Flip. Please do note that each of the week's challenges, the videos that are uploaded there, are moderated, and they are moderated so that we can make sure that answers to challenges aren't released before all of the players have finished it. So all of the responses on the Flip will be made open, completely and available to everyone to go and have a look at and hear what some of the other participants and how they've experienced it. But that will only be made available once all participants have completed the week's reflections itself. So this is where you'd also come and fill those pieces of information in the last part of the week's challenge.
Thank you.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah, question.
Yes, last one, and then I just want to. We've got a couple in the chat. Sorry.
Okay.
I just want to make sure I get to every.
My last question.
Okay. Cool beans.
Okay, so when I was playing the challenge 1, right? So
Yes.
you're doing all these steps and doing all these things that need to be done in there. And then I remember at one point I came across an NPC, and then they displayed a certain message. And then that's when I realized, okay, I asked someone and I was like, when do you know you're done? And then they say, when you see this message. And I said, okay, I saw the message, but then what happens? Doesn't that isn't there some way where it automatically takes me either back to the hooded person there where I first followed him or whatever, because no one could explain to me what I should do. Am I just exiting, doing escape?
Yeah, no, that's perfect. So what I can say is, and it's applicable for all of the challenges, when you get to a position in the game where a giant congratulations comes up onto your screen, you know that you have finished it. Normally there is a NPC that talks to you before that actually says in the text that closes off the challenge. So once you've gotten to that part, that is when you save and exit your world itself. Then what we will do is you'll move over to your team itself, fill out your knowledge check. I do want to point out that at the bottom of each one is a question that is specific to each world. And I do want to ask that everyone fills that answer out as wholesomely as what they can, because there have been a couple, 1 or 2 word answers to them, and they're actually quite important in seeing your full thoughts and the understanding of development that happened behind it. So do make sure that you answer them all fully. And then once you've done your knowledge check, you do your flip check, and then you're done for the week.
So much.
For that challenge period.
Thank you.
Okay. Fantastic. I do see that Thorn had a question. You are more than welcome to do the challenges over the weekend. That is not a problem. Please do run through them. If you finish all 3 of them over this weekend, fantastic. If you only get through 1 or 2, that's also good. It will still be open next week for completion. So the challenge series will be available for completion until the end of next week. So do make sure that you try and catch up if you can, but there's no time barriers or restrictions put on in terms of when you can and can't interact with the program. The challenges are open 24/7 essentially. Okay, fantastic. I do see there's a hand up. I just want to answer some of the questions quickly that's in the chat section, because they have started building up. One of the questions is, how will it be? Oh, okay. How will it be determined who joins the teams? Okay, answered that one. So that's the criteria essentially, which is the completion of all 3, as well as a couple metrics that we run in the backline across them all. So again, it is important. Any answers that you need to give, try and answer them as best as what you can. That's in there, as well as completing your knowledge and reflection check. Then we've got a question from Nolt. Question 1, are we still on track according to our schedule to start the innovation challenge and group stages next week? So that is something that I was going to address towards the end of the session, but I'm glad the question has come up. So the schedule has been changed. You will see a updated and revised schedule will be sent out onto all the teams. Due to some of the changes from a participant point of view, as well as feedback that we've received within the program, we've made a couple of adjustments. This is to help ensure that all participants are able to actually engage with the program as much as possible, and that we can also try and get as many participants into the final tournament as possible as well, to try and expand that out so we can have more teams playing. So what will happen is the challenge series will be extended up until the end of next week. The innovation challenge itself will be released on Wednesday next week, and that will be open up until the end of October. Sorry, until the end of September, the end of the month. And the innovation challenge, we will be setting out a guideline that's in there on what that whole thing entails. Then in terms of when the tournaments will happen, we will have our group stages, so where all the teams across the regions will compete in a round robin format. Each team will at least play twice on that Friday. We will start from 4 through to 8. Further information on that obviously will be given through and relating to who is in what team for the regions. But after the group stages, the top 8 teams that performed in the group stages on the 30th of September will then take part in the knockout stages in the final round on Saturday the 1st of October, and that will start at 10 o'clock. There we will then have a knockout round where if you win, you move on. If you lose, unfortunately, you will then fall out of the final tournament up until when the finals are done. What I can say is both days, or both tournament days, the Friday and the Saturday, we will be live streaming through. Those live stream details will be shared, so please do share it wide with your family and friends. It would be exciting to have the UNISA esports community kind of explode from that perspective. So that's just the changes from a scheduling point of view. In addition to it, I know I mentioned it at the beginning, we will have sessions every day from today being the first one. You'll see links to them will be shared on the WhatsApp groups as well as invitations sent out. They will be held every day until the end of next week to help provide additional support platforms for the participants in their challenges. So if you do run into a challenge, for example, midday tomorrow, and you're really confused on how to do it, please do join the session tomorrow late afternoon so that we can then assist you, because it'll be in the same format as what today's session is. Then I see a second question from Nolt is, can we get more information about the Innovation Challenge? So the Innovation Challenge is something that we are putting out to all the participants, so there's no limitation on it. It will be available to participants that make it for the tournament as well as participants that won't. There's no restrictions on that. But ideally what it is it's to try and see what innovations and creativity lies within you and how you would be able to solve a real world problem. So there will be next week, Wednesday, a full information pack will be released on the Innovation Challenge, what the guidelines are, what the restrictions are, as well as what we're challenging you on in terms of creating a real world applicable solution. So do keep eyes out for that. Then I see there's a question. Please advise, what am I doing wrong? I get the red and green flicker. Sorry, I just want to make sure, Pumani Govender, I'm not entirely sure what that question is.
Okay, let me explain to you. Say suppose you do not complete the challenge in one day, right? And you go back to it, you do a little and you go back to it. So how do you actually go back to it? Because I think there's something wrong I'm doing, because when I looked at my download, I had so many things downloaded and it caused a complete confusion. No
problem at all. So my screen is still shared. So let's say I've loaded into my UNISA Challenge 1.
We've got load shedding.
Yes, and for example, I saved and I exited just before load shedding, and we're kind of good to go. And I want to come back and I want to now carry on from where I left off. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hit play.
Sorry, Zoran, I can't see your screen. I'm just trying to connect with my phone because of load shedding now. 1 second.
Okay, no worries.
Sure. Just trying to get, because I was using 2 screens and I'm just trying to.
No problem.
Yeah, I can see now.
Okay, fantastic. So I've just got Minecraft open, and let's say I had already closed the session like an hour ago and I'd like to come back and carry on. All I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the play button and we're going to say view my worlds. So under view my worlds, it's all the games that I've started. So again, if I go in and I just open this download again, it will start a new game for me. Okay. Under view my worlds, I can continue any game. So the last one that I started, if I select it, this is the one that I really want to continue with. I can just say, click on it and say play. And it will load me in and I'll continue from where I ended off. So the last world that you opened will always be the one that's first on your list under your view my worlds. So that will generally be the one. So if let's just say I'm going to go and just for the example, place myself right here and save and exit. Let it get me all the way back. I'm going to start from the main menu again. So I'm going to hit play and we're going to go under view my worlds. And we're going to see that I actually have a snapshot of where I ended off after my last one. So I can just select it and hit play again. And it's just going to load me in and I'll continue right from where I left off.
Okay, so to get to Minecraft, what you are in now, do you go through Teams again, or how do you get here?
No, so once you've installed the game, it should be on your computer. What you can do, so if you've got a Windows device, you can just hit the Windows icon. And you can actually just start typing in Minecraft and you'll see that it comes up as an app and you can just open it. Now, what I do recommend is, just so that you don't have to go through that schlep, is I've got Minecraft here on my taskbar at the bottom. All I can do is I can right click on it
Mhm.
and I can pin it. So if I pin it to taskbar, it means that even if I close the game like
Mhm.
this, so we'll go all the way, exit out of there, you'll see that Minecraft still stays on my taskbar.
Okay.
So this is also a great way if you do get lost with your tools that you have, leverage your taskbar. You can pin any application to a taskbar. And if you've got ones on here that you don't want, so let's say I don't want Minecraft there, I can just right click on it again and unpin it and it gets removed. So for you that's looking on how to just open Minecraft, my recommendation is just to hit your search bar or your Windows icon, and you can just start typing in Minecraft and it comes up as an app and you can just open it and we'll see that it will launch it for me and ask me then to just log in. So you don't have to go
Yeah,
through
you
Teams
see
every
now,
time.
when I do that, that's when I'm getting the red and orange flicker. Because I actually did that now.
Okay.
Can I show you my, maybe I can share my screen with you and show you what,
Yeah, please do.
what I mean. But it doesn't allow me to share. It says request control. Can I click on to that?
No, there we go. I've stopped. So you should be able to share now. Can't share. Okay, then unfortunately, I think that's a restriction issue. What I can do is I will ask Rian tomorrow just to make contact with you and just set up a Teams call, and then he'll assist you with moving through it and trying to fix that bug. So I'll ask him to give you a call in the morning.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Then I do see we've got a couple extra questions that came through at the bottom. Okay, I do see. Thank you, Prince, for answering it. So you can copy worlds that you've completed across different devices. So let me just show you. I'm going to log in to my Minecraft. And let's say that I've now played on my computer and I would like to move it over to my phone. What I can do is I can just go play, view my worlds. And the world that I want to jump into and use on my other device, I can just click on it, just one click, and you can see you've got this manage option. So if I say manage,
Sorry,
I can
Joanne,
then, yes.
you need to share.
Ah, my soul.
Sorry.
No, thank you, because otherwise I would have carried down this tangent. My longer than what I should have. So thank you for that.
Okay.
Let me just get this all back in order. Okay, so let's say that I now want to start a copy and I want to move over to my phone and carry on from there. So what I would like to do is use the copy that I have already worked on so I don't lose any of my work or progress that I've done. So I'm just going to hit the play option, the view my worlds option. And this is again where we would go and just normally continue from where we started off. I'm going to select on it, and instead of hitting play, I'm going to hit the manage option. And when I hit manage, I've got this option to copy, export, and delete. Now, first off, we want to stay very far away from the delete option. What we want to do is we want to use the export option. So I'm going to say export. And what it's going to do is it's going to open my files, and I can go choose anywhere, even on your desktop. You can come and save your world, and you'll say it will save it with a name for you. And all I'm going to do is use save, right? And there it's copied it for me. So if I had to go through to my desktop now, we would actually see that UNISA challenge 1 is there. We can see the timestamp as well. So it's the one I just did. So from here, I can upload this onto my OneDrive, onto whatever drive sharing you want, or even if you've just plugged your phone through a cable to your device, you can actually just copy it over onto there. And then on whatever device you have, you can just download it or copy it onto there. And if it's got Minecraft Education Edition installed, you can just open it and it will continue for you. So that's how you can actually move between your devices and keep your saves. Unfortunately, it saves it to your device, your progress, not to your account. So if you are moving between devices, unfortunately, this is a process you're going to have to do every time if you don't want to lose any progress that you've made through the world. Okay. And then I see who designed the worlds in the subject kits. They're amazing. Okay. So that is something you are more than welcome, and it's part of having access to the Minecraft Education Edition, is if you hit play, you've got this view library option. And under the view library, you've got subject kits, monthly builds. You've also got how to play guide. So if you really are stuck on something or you want to learn something a little bit more advanced in Minecraft, you can also come to the how to play. But under the subject kits, there's actually worlds designed for different subjects across different fields that you can actually come and engage and play in. You can also make use of the monthly build challenges. So these are challenges that are put out at the end of every month that really gives you ideas on how to build something. So one might be a build challenge. One might, for example, be an architecture challenge where you need to go and build a new Pantheon or a new Roman stadium. So there's a whole host of options in here that you can do. I mean, here, for example, you can actually come and design your own book cover in Minecraft. So these are really engaging and a lot of fun if you just want to actually work through them. And some of them really do cover slightly more complex subject matters. So do take the time and play through there. I don't see any other questions in the chat or hands raised. Are there any questions from anyone? Did some of the stuff that we go over tonight help you in something that wasn't completely clear before?
Put it on my side.
Okay, fantastic. Then if there aren't any other questions or anything that anyone would like to have a look at, then I don't want to take up anyone's evening any further. I hope you have a fantastic evening. Thank you so much for joining. I really am excited to see the answers coming through on the knowledge checks and the reflections. I do have the privilege of watching and moderating through the reflection videos, and they are fantastic to hear how each participant has experienced these challenges in the program as a whole. And if there's anything you've learned out of it, it really is something fantastic to watch, and I can't wait to share that out broad. So thank you everyone that has completed them, and for those that will be completing them. Then I will hopefully see some of you in the sessions this week if you have any challenges. Otherwise, best of luck and have a great evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Cheers, bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Johan.
Thank
Keep safe,
you.
colleagues.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Really?